Hey, this is Monday, September 28th, as we get into fun things from there. For the stuff coming up for this week, grades and B points are now officially posted over here. So for those of you who are in my room, that's why there's arrow posted over here to wall. So where it says for you guys, period 6, if you're watching this on the video and you're not period 6, just find the one that matches up to your number. If you're home right now and you're looking at this, it'll be the same idea. It does not have your name on there. It is just your student ID, and then it has your grades, and then it also has your B points on there, and then it has your current grade for class. My goal is I will update this once a week and then post it on Mondays. So for those of you who come to class, back up now. So those of you who come to class, you can see it on wall right over there where all the giant flag is. Little papers hanging over there. It's the same thing that's on Skyward. So if you look on Skyward, it'll be the exact same thing you find there. It's just that for some reason, looking on the paper version seems to make some kids happier. Your B points, by the way, are listed on Skyward. You can find them on Skyward, or you can find them over here. The vast majority of you guys were at 15. Probably it's not moved a whole lot. Some of you guys bought papers, which dropped your points down a little bit. Others of you did good kid things, which may have raised them up a little bit. You can't check now because I'm charging you points. Silly kids, you can't win that battle. That's why. Yeah, that's why you do before and after class. Or when we have the break halfway between, then you're welcome to check. And I'm like, stand up and stretch and move around. Then you can make a beeline for it. In the middle of me teaching, that would be a distraction. All right, so yay to be at home. Apple Classroom, we've got no one missing, we're good to go there. And the IXLs. On this one, I think I'm already torturing most kids who are missing it. For this one, for those of you who turned it in, go you. There is another IXL coming up this week. My goal is I'm assigning 1. We're actually going to have, I believe, up to 3 homeworks this week. For some of you guys, 0 homeworks. For some of you guys, 3 homeworks. 1, I will assign an IXL on Wednesday that's going to connect to Wednesday's quiz. Again, quiz coming up on Wednesday. We'll have little connecting things to go along with that one. 2, there is a story you have to read for Wednesday. That is going to become homework. You're going to have to read it with your own brain and eyes. Good news is I will give you a link to me reading it on YouTube. So if you don't want to have to read it with your own brain and you rather just listen to me do it, I can read it to you. And I will give you guys that link on a remind. So as long as you pay attention to remind, I will give you a link on how to do that. The 3rd homework assignment is coming up on Thursday, but I will be giving you all of the stuff in class. So as long as you pay attention in class, you will get all of the answers for it. That is my goal. So there's every chance if you listen to me read the homework, you can get out of that one. If you do well on the quiz, you get out of the IXL. And as long as you pay attention in class on Thursday, you'll get out of that homework. You have anywhere between 0 and 3 homeworks, depending on how much you pay attention throughout the week. That's my goal for you. And then again, as far as doing the IXLs for extra B points, when you submit it, if you're going for the extra B points, you have to put that in there. I want extra B points. If not, it goes into extra credit, because you can't assume I know which one you want. If you go on to the Skyward and you realize that you submitted something that you wanted to have for B points, email me and go, hey, Mr. Man, I wanted that for B points. And then I can take it out and I can swap it over. That's fine with me. You just have to be responsible enough to send me a message. Carabello?
Can you do like a half and half? Like for, can you do like 2.5 B points and 2.5 plus your grade?
What I did is I had it, like for you, because you contacted me, I gave you 3 B points and 1 extra credit. And so you got an 11 out of 10, and then I gave you 3 B points. And so, yeah, if you want to split between the 2, I'm fine with that also, where you can get, if you did like all the way up and did like the 100 on the IXL, if you want both, I give you an 11 out of 10 and then 3 B points. I figure that works like a pretty good compromise. And again, those of you who are at home, you can send me the chat messages and I can see you, and that's fine for me too. All right. Interesting hat, Owen, don't die. All right, and then for the quiz coming up on Wednesday, this is what's going to be on quiz on Wednesday. Again, I'll be putting all of this on Skyward to help you out. But essentially, 4 things are going to be on the quiz on Wednesday. One, the things that we keep doing for notes, character, setting, plot, internal conflict, external conflict, stuff like that. Two, the story Lady and the Tiger that we're going to read all of today, and I'm going to give you guys all the answers for, which is on the backside of this piece of paper. On the backside of that piece of paper, we're going to go through and I give you guys all the answers as long as you're paying attention. So hopefully that makes it easier on you. That's going to be on the quiz. Then there are going to be two stories that you're probably going to have to read with your own brain. One is The Fisherman. Depending on how quickly we get through things in class today, we might get through the story. If not, that becomes homework. And then a story called The Fun They Had, which is the other story you guys have to read, which you can get on Canvas. And my advanced class is reading one called After 20 Years. They're doing a slightly tougher one that requires a bit more thinking. I gave you guys the one that's slightly easier. Also, for those of you who are at home, I was told to pass this along to you. If you are using Safari for doing all of your Canvas stuff, apparently Safari is trash and it's not working very well. So if you've not gone over to using Chrome, you should switch over and start using Chrome. And one of the big issues kids have is whenever you try to go and look at stuff, it makes your camera disappear, and then teachers get all mad and yelly at you. So if you use Chrome, it's supposed to solve that problem. So it's one of the things I'm going to keep trying to remind kids. You're supposed to switch over and use Chrome as opposed to Safari. Apparently, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know for sure. I was just told to pass that along. If you keep getting in trouble with teachers because you keep trying to do stuff on Canvas and your screen disappears, use Canvas. Then your screen doesn't disappear and you're less likely to get yelled at by grumpy teachers. Cheerio.
If we do the advanced teaching, we also get extra credit, or we're just not able?
You don't have access to it. It's not on your guys' Canvas, unfortunately. But I like how you're swinging for the fences. I'll respect that. Blaze? Well, one, because you guys get to see me, I feel more bad for the kids there than I feel for you guys. You guys, and I do look around at you guys. I keep making eye contact creepily with several kids. You just have to be looking down at your iPad at times. And plus, whenever I'm yelling at you guys, I look at you. And when I yell at them, I look down at them and I try to share it. For you guys, I'm full and life size. For them, I'm a little tiny square. Evelyn. G3. So G3 and K3. Giraffe 3 and Kangaroo 3. Make sure you're doing the 7th grade ones. Because the only reason I said that is I had a kid turn in all of them, but they were all 1st grade ones. And they were like, I know what a squirrel is. And they got all excited and turned them in. And I'm like, that was not the correct one at all. So 7th grade, Giraffe 3, Kangaroo 3. I mean, if you really want practice, you can do the 1st grade ones, but I don't give credit for them. The kid was really upset with me. They're like, but I worked really hard. It took 5 minutes to find out those animals were. I'm so proud of you. All right. To get to all of this stuff today, it is on my Canvas page. That thing I keep telling you guys to go to that you just ignore me about. So on there, you're going to find the fisherman story, Lane the Tiger story. All of this stuff I keep telling you about is located right there. Plus, there's an info page for today. When you click on that, it's got all the same stuff on there again. So I'm trying to make it as straightforward and easy as possible. Canvas page, to try and help you out as best I can. So Mr. BroviCast, what if I just pay no attention to you? Then that does make it slightly more challenging. There's only so much we can do. Gotcha. Then let's get into learning and you guys aggressively staring at me. Yay, like you're doing right now. I'm just performing in front of you. We got through all that. I believe we finished all this for you guys. And we got to the theme and stuff like, yay, you're so excited. I can feel the radiation coming off of you guys. So we got the theme, which is the thing you're going to learn, which we're going to get into today. We're going to talk about our first story. Internal conflict. Ooh, let's find out. Lily, since you're, hang on. Don't you answer yet, Lily. You hush your mouth, you horrible child. Those of you at home, before I get to pick on Lily, to yell, just say, by the way, Blaze, this is me looking at Lily as I keep taunting her. It's called eye contact. You can tell because she's freaking out. Good job, Lily. You just stay right there. Those of you at home, don't forget how we play my game. When I say your name, you have to unmute yourself quickly. If you take so long that I'm able to pick up pin, I start charging you points. So make sure you're focusing on me. As soon as I say your name, you unmute, and I can go onto there, and you're good to go. That's how we get a chance to interact. I will say your name, and then I'll begin my talking. Good luck if you're paying attention. Lily, why are we waiting so long for you to answer the question? Lily, on the internal conflict, internal means inside of you. Conflict means a fight, like that thing you and I are doing right now. Or every time when you get on the screen and Gabby's behind you, same idea there. What word, if you were to use it, would cause me to throat punch you and expose your globetrotter ways? With strength and confidence, Lily. Nicely done. One more question, Lily. What word do you have? By the way, the answer was not. I know you heard her because she was strong and confident, and her voice echoed around the room as I continue to taunt Lily. What other word do you have to use, Lily, to not make me taunt you? Here's your. One more time. The worst that happens, Lily, is you're wrong and I taunt you. Once again, you're asking me. I'm a boomer with confidence. You're so close. You're missing the one word that goes in the middle. That's the word, Lily. You just had to say it. Good teamwork, Lily. High five. And so on internal conflict, it is blank or blank. For some reason, you put an and in there, which means we just have to taunt you. So it should be blank or blank. Ellie, now we're ready for external conflict. And external means an outside thing, like an actual battle fight, like what you just saw again happen between poor Lily and I. For an external conflict, Snyder, how is an external conflict always supposed to be written? Yes.
As a battle?
Yeah, that's what it is, but how is it written? What word do you have to use?
Oh, blank versus blank.
Nicely done. Way to taunt Lily. I'm assuming you were taunting Lily. Is this just a fun thing to... So it's always written as something versus something. It is a battle or a fight that pops up in the story. Battle between two physical things, blank versus blank. So you. Now, let's get into our story. Those of you who are here, I love you enough to give you a copy of Paper Story. Those of you that are at home, I'll give you paper copy on Wednesday when I love you more. The drawback is you don't get a copy of Paper Story quite yet. You'll just have to learn to accept that as best you can. For those of you who are here, this is your copy. Write on it, use it, love it, whatever you want to do as far as the stuff goes from there. Use me, did not mean to bring that up. What I'm going to do is I will read story out loud to you. What you are going to do is backside of paper, you are going to start filling stuff in on here, where it talks about characters, setting, things like that. Those of you who are at home, I'll be giving you guys some of the easier questions because you don't have story in front of you. Those of you who are here, I get to taunt you because you have paper copy of story that you can use your own eyeballs to look at. Or those of you who are at home, also, if you want your own copy of it, it's right there on my Canvas page, and you could go download it if you wanted to. Or I'll just put it on the screen, and you're welcome to read it that way too. I'm happy either way, whichever makes your life easier. All right. The Lady and the Tiger. As we go through, figure out characters, setting, stuff like that. Hold on a moment. Sorry, makes my face sweat. It's all uncomfortable and creepy. Ugh. All right, now we're back. The Lady and the Tiger. Once in a kingdom long ago, where ancient customs prevailed, a gardener's son dared to love the king's only daughter, the Princess Royal. That was bad enough. But as luck would have it, the princess loved the boy in return, and that was worse. Of course, the two never had a chance to actually speak to each other, but they exchanged many glances and occasionally blew each other an unseen kiss when they hoped nobody was looking. They both knew that loving each other was not right, but they loved each other all the same. Ooh, so Max, thanks for volunteering already. For those kids who are not paying attention, as I torture Max, Max took to. That's you, Musgrave. I already called on you and you did not unmute yourself. Too late, Max. I've already had to be mean to you. Max, why would you make me do such a thing? Hi, Max. Next time, be faster. Max, we have two characters so far in the story. Did you pick up on who the two characters are in the story so far? Yeah, this is where you answer. Don't nod your head at me. Who are the two characters, Max?
Oh, okay, to be honest, I wasn't paying attention.
That's very honest of you, Maxwell. Nicely done. That's the joy of those of you at home, is that whole focusing on me when I talk things, and we get a chance to torture you from there. But don't worry, Max. I'll be picking on you again in a moment. Reynolds, who are our two characters so far?
The gardener's son and the king's daughter.
Nicely done. The gardener's son and the king's daughter, or the princess royal, however you want to do it. So far, two characters. Delaney, they're not going to pop up yet. That's why I was telling you on that one. So they do, but they're not going to be farther into it. They kind of make just references to them. Jeriel works for me also. And hang on. And then let's see. That we have the two of them. Oh, and PJ. We also know one other thing about them besides who they are, PJ. How is it they feel about each other?
They love each other.
Nicely done. So we know the fact that we have these two teenagers, a gardener's son, and we have the princess, and they love each other. What's important about the two of them is that they're supposed to be standing in class, and they would never sit down while they were supposed to be standing, because then the evil ogre monster would have to be mean to them and charge them points for not being higher off the ground. I'm old. I get easily confused. These things happen. The drawback to having ancient boomers teach you. It's okay. I didn't charge you points. I was just talking about random things in the story. Continuing. Oh, how they long to, by the way, Max, be prepared. At some point, I am going to call on you and pick on you again, just so you're prepared for it. Oh, how they long to speak to each other, to whisper loving things to each other, or even this hardly bore thinking of, kiss each other. Still, for many months, they were happy with their secret love, gazing from afar at each other. But at about the same time, the princess and the boy realized that this was not enough. When he helped out in the garden, the boy spent more and more time under the windows of the princess's royal chambers. And the princess spent more and more of her time looking out her windows, hoping for a moment when the two could finally speak. One lovely spring day, the longed for moment finally arrived. By the way, that just gave you more parts of our setting because we can tell when it's taking place. And what clue did it just give you? Nicely done, Mina. It's telling you spring. So it gives you more as far as the when because it says one lovely spring day. The longed for moment finally arrived. The princess was in her sitting room staring out the window, and her maids had retired at her command. The gardener's son was reading near the palace walls, and the other gardeners were out of sight around the corner. And the boy drew near the princess's window just as she looked down. The princess leaned out the window. The boy stood up. The two were just inches away. And finally, the boy said the first thing he'd ever said directly to the princess. I love you, he said simply. I love you, the princess replied. But that was their undoing. For as she spoke, the door to her bedroom opened, and who should enter but the king himself? Hearing her words, he strode to the window and caught the unfortunate gardener's son, still standing outside the window, smiling upwards. I believe if this were a TV show, this is where they would introduce you to dun dun dun. That was our dun 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 moment. Owen, let's see if I get to pick on Owen. And Owen, tick, tick. Oh, Owen, you're fast. Nicely done. Owen, we introduce a new character into our story. We have gardener's son, we have princess, and who's our new one that just came in at the end?
The king.
Nicely done, the king. And then he comes in. Oh, Maxwell, one, you're forgiven, Maxwell. You're human. It's okay to make mistakes. And four, Maxwell, thanks for answering right. Maxwell, why have you not unmuted yourself? I'm calling on you. Oh, good job, Maxwell. Max, then they finally, the boy and the girl, finally get a chance to say their first words to each other, Maxwell. And what are the first words they get to say to each other?
I love you.
Max, thank you. That's how I feel too. That's how bonding works. Nice. So they finally get a chance to say, I love you. The thing is, the king only caught one of them speaking. Which one did the king catch? Jerio? Nicely done. So the king walks in as the princess says, I love you. what we're going to find out is that apparently it is illegal to love the princess if you're a poor person. Poor people can't love rich people. That's naughty, naughty, bad stuff. And so the king came in and sees his daughter going, I love you, and leaning out the window. He's like, ooh, who does my daughter love? And he goes running over there as any father would. And he looks out the window and he sees a poor person. Now, the thing is, did he hear the boy say, I love you? No. So he does not know if the boy is guilty. For all he knows, his daughter is like one of those Disney princesses who's going, I love you, trees. I love you, bushes. I love you, random boy. And so for all he knows, she's just like throwing out I love yous everywhere. And the boy's like, okay, creepy girl, whatever. And so the boy's completely innocent. But if the boy is in love with her back, now he has done a capital offense, which means he can be put to death. And that's the next part of our story to find out if we get to kill
Dun, dun,
the boy. You are correct. That is about as much of another dun 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 as we get to. Now, our picture with the well, if it helps, Maxwell, you're my favorite Maxwell this year. You're my absolute favorite Maxwell I have in sixth period, if that helps. So now we're going to find out this king has an unusual punishment system. He doesn't use like normal courts or anything like that. He has come up with a whole different idea. He has a room of death that we're going to introduce here. Here is our room of death. Justice in this kingdom was swift, and in the eyes of this most just of kings was always fair. There was but one method of dealing with all serious offenses, and it was used on everybody, rich, poor, minister, or gardener's son. The king had had a large arena built right on the palace grounds. Prisoners were led into the center of the arena, where they were faced with two large doors. The prisoner was then to choose one of the doors and open it. Behind one door was always a lovely lady, and behind the other was always a fearsome tiger. The doors were well padded, so there was no way to hear the roars or rumblings of the ferocious beast behind one door. And nobody but the king himself ever knew behind which door was concealed the lady, and behind which the tiger. If the prisoner opened the door with the lady, he was married on the spot and immediately rose to a powerful position in the kingdom. If he opened the door with the tiger, he would be eaten by the fierce beast. Thus, felt the king, the fates alone would determine the guilt or innocence of the prisoner. Daring to love the king's daughter was, of course, a serious crime, and being loved in return only compounded the offense. The gardener's son was arrested on the spot and led to prison to await his turn in the arena. But as he was led away, he saw the princess form a few words with her lips. Trust me. Wait, for those of you at home. Trust me, she breathed, so he retained a glimmer of hope. I tried to make that as uncreepy as possible for those of you at home, so you got a chance to experience it. So, room of death. This is how the king has things set up. The king does not know if the boy is innocent or guilty. For all he knows, the boy is completely innocent and the kid should go free. Or the kid is guilty, dies on the spot. So he brings the gardener's son, whichever guilty person, well, sorry, we don't know if he's guilty, whichever suspected person it is, and brings them into this giant area and makes them choose between two doors that are there. Now, Antoinette, this next one's going to be for you. Let's pretend, Antoinette, that we know the boy is guilty. If he's guilty, what pops out from behind guilty door?
A tiger.
And what is the tiger going to do?
Eat him.
Well, give him a giant hug on his head with the tiger mouth. But that might lead to death. You know, not everyone can handle the power of a tiger hug. Good job, Antoinette. So if he's guilty, he is going to go to guilty door. Giant tiger jumps out, eats his head. Ethan, But let's say that he's an innocent boy and would never do such a horrible thing as loving a girl. So in that case, what's going to pop out of the other door?
A lady.
Is correct. Hot hula chick pops out, and he gets to marry hot hula chick, and everything turns out to be good. Well, Mr. Broviak, what if the accused person is a girl? Well, then I'm sure a dude pops out. Well, what if they're, LGBT? Then whatever you want to choose is behind the door. But the idea being is that a special person jumps out from behind the door and goes booga booga booga. You and I get to be married and spend the rest of our time together. Ariel?
Honestly, for me, since it's gonna be the boy like the king's daughter, I think there's gonna be two tigers.
Well, that's what because a lot of people would suspect, but Mr. Broviak, wouldn't the king put two tigers behind there just to kill the boy? But here's the thing. The king does not know if the boy is guilty at all. If he knew the boy was guilty, like if the king had come in and he had seen the boy going, I love you, heart bubble, heart, oh crap, then the king would have just been like, yo, did, and just stabbed him and done with it. But the king has no idea if the boy's guilty or not. So the king's excited. The king's like, ooh, it's like eating popcorn. He's like, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? It's like the best show ever. He's either gonna watch the kid like, yay, hot chick, or yay, not a hot chick, and then run away screaming. So the king's happy about it. That's why there's not two tigers or not two girls. He wants to find out also what's going to happen from here. That's why he's excited. Ariel? Yeah.
The princess is upstairs.
Uh-huh.
As he chooses the girl with the door,
Uh-huh.
you have to marry the princess or the girl with the door.
Not marry the princess. And that becomes the next part of the story. So no matter what, he does not get to be with the princess. And that's going to make the alliance happy because if he gets this girl, they get to get married together. And so they're going to be stuck together not stuck, with a hot chick, whatever. But they're going to be together, and he does not get to be with the princess. So King is happy. He's like, no matter what, if the boy was guilty, he did. If the boy was innocent, he's still not my daughter. So either way, the king is going to be happy. What makes them unhappy? Ooh. Hang on for a second. Let's grab here. Now, Lathe, I'm going to pick on you for just a second, Lathe. I'll put the screen back up there to help you out. But Lathe, here's where our story gets fun. Because it turns out the princess said something to him right before he disappeared so he would not give up hope and want death. What magic thing, Lathe, does she say to him before he disappears?
I love you.
Oh, thank you, Lathe, but you can't steal Maxwell's answer. Not everyone can love me, Lathe. I know it's like the go-to. You're like, I'm scared, Mr. Broviak. I love you. I just love you, Mr. Broviak. Lathe, I understand. Everyone should have that as their go-to response. But that's not quite where we're going yet, Lathe. Don't worry, I'll match. Yes, Lathe.
Trust me.
Oh, thank you, Lathe. Much better answer that. So yeah. So she tells him to trust her, which means she has an idea. And a teenage girl with a crafty idea that involves going behind your father's back, only good things can happen from there. Let's find out what good things happen next. As he waited, he being the boy, as the boy waited, however, his hopes faded. At the same time, the king grew more and more pleased with himself and his system of justice. Both had the same thoughts. Whatever the outcome, the boy would be forever separated from the princess. For if he chose the lady, he would of course be married on the spot and thus forfeit forever his chances of marrying anybody else. And if he chose the tiger, he would not live another 10 minutes. So they're just now figuring out what you guys already figured out. And no matter what, boy and girl don't get to be together, which is sad because they finally said those special words of, I love you. While the boy was languishing in the prison and the king was feeling pleased with himself, the princess was very busy. By the eve of the day, the prisoner was to be led out to the area. She had managed by stealth and trickery to discover what normally only the king knew. She discovers which door contains the tiger and which door the lady. All that next night, she tossed and turned. What should she tell her love? She didn't know how to decide. If he chose the lady, how could she bear to watch him there, married on the spot, happy beyond words at his escape from death? and then to see him forever around the palace with new power and respect, but forever further out of reach than she could bear? Would it not be better to end things quickly and then meet him once again in that other world to which all are finally taken? Oh, but how could she possibly condemn him to the horrible death of the tiger's teeth and claws and the screams and the blood? Sorry, I got all excited on that. So, as we get a chance to start torturing the children and going from there, PJ, let's pick on you for a second here, PJ. So now, as he's sitting there and waiting and getting sad and stuff like that, PJ, it turns out our sneaky girl, our lead main character, has discovered something that she is not supposed to know. Something that only the king is supposed to know. And what is it she has discovered?
Where the tiger is.
And nicely done. So she now knows behind which door has the tiger and which door has the girl. But here's the thing. She can't let the king know that she knows. So she can't replace the tiger with like a kitty cat, and she can't replace the girl with like herself. But all she can do is figure out which door to point to. She can't mess with it. She can't change anything. But now the boy she loves is going to walk into this room, and she's going to try and tell him which door to go to. Should she tell him to go get married to hot chick or go get killed by giant tiger? Now, for a lot of you, your solution is, Mr. BroviCast, marry hot chick and then get a divorce. They didn't have divorce back then. So that's not an option. So she's going to have to either be for it. Plus, maybe once he's with other hot chick, he ain't going to need you no more. So that might be a whole different issue that comes in too. And if he goes to tiger, he's definitely not going to need her anymore. So that's the decision that she's now looking at. Blaze. So your solution is murder. You just said kill the lady. Like, that's not how we solve things. The lady. What? Bad children. That we don't solve problems through murder and infidelity. That's not how we go around solving life's problems. Kaylina. If you go to 7th grade and then look through the answers, go through 7th grade once and then just go through alphabet, you have to like search for it because it's not suggested to you anymore. If you just go 7th grade, then find G, and there should be the third one on there. All right, Jeriel.
Back then, to get in position, you could also look up. I'm pretty sure you are able to fight somebody in power, and then you could gain that power. So can he just fight the king?
I'm not sure fighting the king is a wow. I like your guys' problem solving. I'll give you that one. We've now gone through murder, infidelity, and royal side as you guys have way of trying to solve all these different things. It's a good thing you guys aren't pointing to a door. Goodness gracious. So let's find out. Oh, by the way, be prepared. Because no matter what the answer is, apparently some of you guys are going to be upset. Because if she points over to hot chick, those of you who are like, kill the boy, are going to be all upset. And those of you like, that boy got to die. And there's all this, and she points over to the hot chick. You're like, where's my death? So no matter what, someone's going to be unhappy. We're going to find a way to try and make all of you unhappy. Final part. The princess did not, itchy nose. Sorry. The princess did not sleep all night, but by morning she knew what she would do. She rose and dressed, and presently was sitting at her father's side in the arena, waiting for the prisoner to be let out. Then the boy came striding boldly out, and as was the custom, he walked directly over towards the king and bowed. As he stood up, he stole one brief glance at the princess. One glance was enough. She sat calmly and with dignity, but almost unnoticed, she made a quick motion with her right hand. Without waiting or thinking, the gardener's son walked instantly to the right-hand door and opened it. And now, dear reader, I ask you the same question that the princess asked herself all those long, agonizing hours of the final night. What was her decision? Which came out, the lady or the tiger? It doesn't tell you. The story just ends. I know. So here is where, well, one, for those of you who are here, you have that moment of rage. For those of you who are at home, look around your room, find a table, go over to the table, and just flip it over and be like, table flip. Like, how dare you not give me, I understand. But this is a classic story that goes back like thousands of years, and it's all about the fact that it's supposed to make you choose what do you want to have happen. So if you want boy to die, he did. If you want boy to get married, well, apparently he did too. But apparently he's going to get married, so you get to choose which way you go. I like reading this one. He's still talking, Blaze. It's okay. You're not the one dying yet. And this is where I get all excited. I get to watch kids get all ragey and angry at me. Jerry L.
I'm gonna teach you the tiger and then jump off.
And you're like,
Be double dead.
that
One
would,
day.
that's, here's the problem with that one.
She basically killed him by sending him out for guilty. So technically, he'll go to hell. Suffer forever for her.
Yep.
soul from being jealous.
And that's where the issue comes in when kids are all like, Mr. Broviak, she can just have the tiger eat him and then she can go stabby stabby. Well, the problem is, I think when you send the tiger to eat the boy, last time I checked, that's called murder. And they tend to frown on that and you go a different direction. And then if she's like, oh, and then she also does stabby stabby, that's not good. But the boy, most likely is innocent. He's just like, I'm a happy kid that likes cutting down weeds. Ah, tiger! And he gets eaten. There's every chance he's going to go the other way. So they're not going to meet each other because, you know, choices. So that's where it comes in. All right. We are going to go over the answers on this one in a moment, but we're going to take a quick time out, let these kids take a break from me yelling at them. We're going to take a 3-minute time out and then come back before you run away. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle quick. Tinkle quickly, then come back. Those of you who have been standing, have you guys gotten one done and submitted it? Have you, as long as you've submitted it, I'll be nice. Graham, are you almost to the point where you can submit it? Also, what you want to do then, what I'll let you do, Kaylina, I'm going to let you sit down for a bit. Emmeline, I'm going to let you sit down for a bit since you've submitted one. Graham, I'm going to let you sit down for a little bit also. I'll be nice to you. This is his first day of torture. I don't want to commit to non-stop torture, so I figure I'll let you guys sit as long as you guys keep working. I'll be nicer-ish to you. Mina! Oh my goodness. Twinkle like the wind. Charter. Yes, fine. Cheerio. Yeah, you can stand up. Those of you who are here, if you want to stand up, that's fine. Those of you who are at home, go pick up the mess you made when you flipped over that table. Yes. Breathe on each other. They sweat. Yeah, I've got a muzzle. But when you yell at kids nonstop, that's all that exhaling, even the muzzle. And that position, inhaling my mask after I yell at them. And my other issue I have, like this bottom part of it is like nonstop near my chin. Now I have like this little red spot. I gotta figure out how to fix that too. I mean, the easy solution is just to stop yelling at kids, but no, takes all the fun out of things. You just dance at that time. I'm not judging.
Come close to having before Farhan.
45, I believe. Yeah, he did a whole bunch of Simpson sheets.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I lost track of
All right. And kids be back.
Wait, so how many are we able to do per day?
As many as you want. You could. I've had kids who would do 250 at a time. Or 200 at a time. They do a full sheet front and back, which was 200 lines. It's 20 points. So I had kids do like 20 points at a time. What?
I got one.
They're on my cancel page. You can print them off. If you want me to print it, see me at the end of class. I'll be happy to do it. And I have pre ones printed out for you. All right, standing kids, faster. We're gonna be mean to children.
Everybody in A10.
All right.
I got 45.
Those of you who are at home, we're getting ready to tag back in and continue with the thing here in a moment. For those of you who are hidden from me, just so you're aware. All right. And those of you who have not had a chance to pick on yet, I look forward to hopefully spreading it around and picking on others. Nice. Mr. Stump, the STARS teacher, he taunts me whenever he goes by. Those teachers. All right. Sure. What a happy day. All right, so now if you're standing, I get to be mean to you. We're going to go back to teaching, he says, all low key, knowing that two kids are still standing up and not paying attention. How quickly can he be mean to them as he moves the pen of awfulness? And, oh, look at that. The teacher. The tiger's going to get you. All right. Booga, booga, booga. All right, so now we're going to be going through papery thing for those of you who are responsible. There's every chance you've already filled parts of this in, because you know, responsible kids. For the others of you, let's see what we can do. All right. So again, this is the end of the story. We have the lady, we have the tiger, we have the choosing between the two. Let's see what we can do to help you. As we begin going into things from there. So Leah, thank you for volunteering. I'm so proud of you. That was brave. That was fun watching your eyeballs get really big, especially the part where you've not unmuted yourself yet, so Leah, and I know you heard me because I watched your eyes flare. Leah, hi. So Leah, we're going to start answering our questions. We have 3 characters that are like main ones in the story. How many of the characters can you name? Go for it.
The princess, the
Yes.
garden,
Yes.
the king, and the king.
That's good. So the answer is all 3. You flex on those fools, so Leah, go you. Even so on there you have Princess Royal, Gardener's Son, and King. Even more important, Celia, good job not being the kid that goes, there was a lady and a tiger. Because yes, that is how my kid answered in 4th period. And I'm like, serious? He's like, I didn't pay attention to anything. And I'm like, oh my goodness, child. So go you. Now, the other thing we have to do is you're going to come up with descriptions of each one of those characters. Something that works for them that could not apply to anybody else. Like for Princess Royal, you could say a girl. Technically, that would work. It would also mean that I technically have to throat punch you because you're a globetrotter wussy. Because you should be able to come up with a better thing than that. So for Princess Royal, I went for discovers the door's secrets because that only applies to her. If you put a human, because that applies to all of them. Do we have to have your description? No. If you want your own description, as long as it works, I'm fine with it. Can we describe her as a girl? Yes, my little globetrotter, you can. And then when I find out you did that, right into the throat, and you have no one to blame but yourself. Cheerio.
Are you safe? She's a girl because she's the only character that applies to.
It does. That's why technically it works, but that's how Globetrotters answer things. They're like, I'm a wussy. What's the weakest answer I can give? Globetrotter. So yes, it would work. It's just that's why I have to make fun of you. Delaney, are you raising your hand at me? Next to it. Making me fun of you, Delaney. You're witnessing that whole big blank area over the side. Please. Not for the description, no. Because that's not a description, that's what he is. I know, globetrotter. So when we come down to Gardener's Son, I had a kid earlier today who was like, oh, loves the princess. And they're like, flex. And I was like, no, that would not work as a description because that describes another character. The king also loves the princess. That's why he does not want her to get married to the poor scrubby boy. So loves princess works for both king and Gardener's Son. That would work, although I guess it does. At the beginning of the story, it does talk about him like doing gardening. So sure, that could work. Now, again, for those of you trying to embrace your inner globetrotter, if you describe Gardener's Son as a gardener or a son, technically you're correct. But again, right into the throat because your globetrotter ways are showing. I went for trust the princess because that does not apply to any other character. What, doesn't her dad trust her? Seriously? It's a teenage girl. Does any dad trust his teenage daughter? I mean, wow, that was a lot of no, Mr. Broviak, no, they do not. So exactly. So on that one, that's why you can probably say it does not apply. Plus, if the dad trusted his daughter, she could be like, I don't love that boy at all. And he would believe her. I mean, she'd be lying, but still he could believe her. And then finally for the king, I put uses the two-door system. But again, whatever one you want to come up with is fine with me. Jeriel, is this what you're asking about, whether Graham had to have written down into his piece of paper when he shows up on Wednesday, or I get to torture him? You're right, Jeriel. This is what he's writing down on that piece of paper, so I wouldn't have to come back to torture him. That was so nice of you trying to be nice to him. What, Jeriel, you have another question?
Just like how men don't really trust teenage daughters. Green Lantern is the most basic superhero because no man that I know wears a ring and it gives them power.
Wow, seems so sexist. He's trying to go anti-women because it's a whole getting married thing. You pick whatever fight you want, and when you're walking down the hallway and a girl just shivs you right in the, you're like, ah, and they break off the shiv in your ribs. That's a you issue. Yes, Jeriel. Because he's digging things in the garden. If that brings you happiness, sure. But I'm not sure they mentioned potatoes in the story. Sorry, digging into my chin. I feel the same way, Antoinette. Thank you for agreeing with me. So then, jumping down to settings, we have the when and the where in the story. Way back at the beginning of the story, they told you when it was taking place, which was a long time ago. Then, partway through, they told you what season it was taking place. And ooh, Kate, did you catch what season? Nicely done, Kate. And they told you it was taking place in the daytime on spring. Because in the third, I think it's the third paragraph, I might not be making it up, it says it was a lovely spring day. So that gives you the fact that a long time ago, at the very beginning, and then partway through it says spring day. Mina, thank you for volunteering, dear. And then we get to where, Mina, which is very brave of you. There's actually 3 different wheres we can get into. So overall, Mina, where is our story taking place? NA works for me. Then we can get even more specific. Because Mina, you're not done yet. You keep flexing, dear. Then we get to the part where we find out where they say love to each other. Where was it when that happened? Flex again. Garden/princess's room. You're almost there for your full flexing, Mina. At the very end of the story, where is it taking place in the kingdom? One, you should never say killing room while giggling. It comes across as the killing room. Yes, dear. We're going to call it the arena, or for Mina, the killing room. Yes, please. Sure, that works for me.
The 2 things, the one's the princess's room, it was the princess's sitting room, and it was also called the double door jump.
I would work for that too. Those are fine with me. At least you didn't say while giggling and thinking about people dying. So that's a step in the right direction. We're not judging. I'm judging a little bit. Never mind. The people at home are definitely judging. So now going to the plot. On here, as we get into it on that one, we have 5 parts that go into the plot. I'm going to sort of break it down to get you guys practice for quiz coming up. The very first thing that happens at the very beginning of the story, boy and girl meet and fall in love. Like that's the very first thing we find out at the start of it. They talk about the fact they met each other and there was love and happiness and stuff like that. And again, yours don't always have to match mine perfectly. If you want to shorten it, that's fine with me. My goal with this is just to help you when it comes time for the quiz. You get to sort of jump through and figure this out. Number 5, the last thing that happens in the story was the girl points to the right door and the boy opens it. So that's the very beginning and all the way down to the very end. Then, for the middle, I put the 2 doors are explained. That gives you beginning, middle, end. You had it a few moments ago because you were turning it into a paper airplane and you were folding it over and over again. You need to buy a new one? I can sell you a new one. No, you had it years a little bit ago. It's a pink piece of paper. And you kept folding that pink piece of paper into little things. Literally just have it. Give up on it. I have faith in you. Is it that one? Oh, no, that one's not folded enough either. So on here, as an example, I'll happily sell you a new one. Oh, see, it was that pink piece of paper. I knew I was right. It's amazing how I can make it magically appear like that.
I waited like
Oh, dreams come true, Jeriel. So back here to picking on tomorrow. Thank you for tomorrow. So tomorrow, if number 1 is the boy and girl meet and fall in love, and 3 is us punishing him with the 2-door system, what has to happen between 1 and 3? Are you asking me? Strength. Not with power. Remember, I'm confused. I'm the old boomer. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just need confidence. Completely correct, Mara. The king catches the girl saying love. See? Confidence. You were right there. You nailed it. So 2, king catches the girl saying love. For number 4, we have the 2, Delaney. Thanks for volunteering so we can pick on you, Delaney. What a fun game. For 3, the 2 doors are explained. 5 is the girl points to the right-hand door and the boy opens it. So what has to happen between those 2 before we find out about the punishment system and her pointing to a door for it to work? 1, channel your inner confidence. The worst that happens is you're wrong and I mock you in front of other people like I did with Maxwell. So what is it she discovers? Nicely done. Although we're going to work on your confidence, Delaney, but we're getting there. Baby steps. See, guys, I have the right answer. Have faith in yourselves. Again, the worst that happens is I mock you. I mock everybody. Sorry, Finley, I thought we were dancing. All right. So again, I think I saw it was an old lion, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, when those 3 people went.
Yeah, you're reading my mind. It's kind of scary. So, like, what I'll end up doing on the quiz is giving you 3 and 5 and having you figure out what comes in like the number 4 spot, something like that. We're gonna make this disappear. What's that, Finley? You're volunteering. Oh, thank you, Finley. That's so brave of you. Also, give me that look. The look of happiness, Finley. Finley, point of view. We're gonna take a look at that one next. Shot. For the point of view, see you have paper right in front of you, so you don't have to give me angry starey thing. For figuring out point of view, is it first person or third person, Finley? Is correct. So it should be third person. But before you get too excited, Finley, here's the next part where it gets tougher. To figure out whether it's limited or omniscient, you have to figure out if there's one character that's in every scene. My argument is third person limited and the princess is in every scene. If you're going to argue with me and say it's omniscient, that means you can find a scene that the princess is not in. Is there a scene where the princess does not appear? Ooh. That is such a confident answer, Finley, but we're getting there. We'll take a look at paper in front of you. So this goes to all of you. This is what you have to do to figure out the difference between limited and omniscient. If you say omniscient, and I tell you that I say it's limited and that the princess is the main character that's in every scene, can you find a scene that the princess is not in? Your hint is yes. Yes, you can. The question is, in what scene does that happen? It's like I'm trying to make you think. How awful of me. Tomorrow, with confidence. That was not with confidence. Again tomorrow, Harris. With
Mario goes into the present.
wow, tomorrow. It's weird. I know I can't see your mouth, but I could have sworn that was like not even you. That really freaked me out the way you threw it across the room like that.
No.
Wow, you did it again tomorrow. How are you doing such things? It's magic. Yes, tomorrow. Eventually, we're going to get you and Delaney to team up and high five with confidence. You are correct. When the boy goes to jail, that is what qualifies as our part where it becomes omniscient. She is not in the scene where he is in jail crying for his mom and saying, oh my goodness, life is awful. That's what makes it omniscient. If you pull that scene out, there's a chance you could argue it is third person limited. As we go through our stories, that is going to be the challenge you're going to have. Can you find a scene that makes it omniscient as opposed to limited? You can't just randomly go, omniscient, lots of characters. No, boo-boo. You have to be able to prove to me what makes it omniscient where you can find a scene that character does not exist. With confidence. Theme. All right, on this one it's a little bit tougher. Some stories I think the theme is easy. On this one I think the theme is a little bit tougher. Ooh, but Delaney, confidence. Why do you say love? Not that. Ooh, hang on. Before I accept your, Delaney said love. So before I accept Delaney's saying of love, which is how Maxwell feels towards me. 1 second, is Maxwell back? Maxwell is back. They were just talking about the fact that you love me, Max. It's okay. So before I can accept that answer, by the way, Delaney, how is it that the gardener's son demonstrates love? Confidence tomorrow. I'm sorry. See how I, shade thrown. Confidence, Delaney. Go try it again. I would count that. How does the princess demonstrate love, Delaney? Are you asking me? Confidence, Delaney. Come at me again. That would work. The princess says, I love you back. You're almost done, Delaney. How does the king demonstrate love then? He wants to kill the boy to protect his daughter. Delaney, can you do something for me? Can you take this arm, do this, take this arm, do this? You are flexing on all the fools, Delaney, because that was the best answer. Love is what it should be. Hang on. Love, love, love. Oh, no, I'm trying to brag on Delaney. Don't you rob me, computer. There we go. Love is correct. Be the best answer because all three characters demonstrate love in some way. The king loves his daughter, and then the boy loves the girl, girl loves the boy. Love would work the best. See what happens when you're confident, Delaney? Good things happen. Ariel.
Since Gardener's son picks out weed, wouldn't he technically be a drug dealer?
Sure. Then, I think it takes more than random weeds you find in your garden. But if that's how you're going to make your money on the weekends, don't let me stop you. We all make our choices. All right, so we have love. Everybody acts out of love in the story. And then internal conflict. Let's jump to our one on that one. Uh-oh. Did Alan disappear? I'm going to pick on Alan next. I think Alan ran away from me. Oh, Alan. Maybe Alan died. Poor dead Alan. All right. Ethan, since Alan died, that means I get to pick on you instead, Ethan. Way to be brave. So we're going to get to, hang on a second. Grumble, grumble, grumble. There. And internal conflict is going to be the decision, Ethan. And so on this one, our princess had a giant internal conflict in the story where she had to make a decision. Excuse me. What decision does she make in the story, Ethan?
Between which door to pick and which door to, to not.
Hang on, Ethan. Lily wants to yell at you, and I don't want to stop Lily from yelling at you. What's that, Lily? You said there's a certain word he has to use where we have to make fun of a child. What word does he have to use in an internal conflict, Lily? With tomorrow, Delaney, Lily. What? Come at me with confidence, Lily. What word is it? That's right. You have to use the word or, Ethan. Did you hear
I did.
voice? Lily's voice was so loud. She's backing us all down with her confidence.
I did say or.
Try it again, Ethan, with or so I can hear you. All right. Option 1 is?
The tiger or the chick.
All right, nicely done. I got so excited yelling at you, Ethan, I stopped paying attention. Oh, you are correct. Kill the boy or go to the hot chick. So that becomes the 2 things that he can choose on that one. Ugh. Gardener's son. Ellie. I think it's been a long time since I've had a chance to pick on you. So let's bring it back to Ellie Town. The gardener's son also has a major decision at the end of the story, Ellie. Let's see if you can figure out correctly the major decision that the gardener's son makes at the end. And make sure you use Lily's word so she does not have to yell at you. So if you shake your head, I'm watching right here. Go ahead.
To love the princess or
Just back up. Ellie, what happens at the very end of the story?
he goes to jail.
Well, he's already in jail. So
Yeah.
after that, he's in the big room. What's in the big room, Ellie? There are things that lead into rooms. They have handles and hinges on them.
A door.
Good job. How many of those exist, Ellie?
2.
Are you asking me? Good job, Ellie. This is a fun game we're playing. All right. Ellie, does he choose which door to go to?
Yes.
No, Ellie, but at least you were somewhat confident on that one. It's all right. We're going to come back and pick on you again in a moment, Ellie. I'm going to let you stop suffering for a second. It's okay. Antoinette, because you're right below where Ellie is, so we're going to pick on you. We're going to give Ellie a break, but don't give up forever, Ellie. I'm coming back because we have the next conflict to get to. Antoinette, at the end, what decision does the boy have to make?
The gardener's son has to choose the left door or the right door.
Close. You're on the right track. But what's important, Antoinette, is first of all, you were confident. Even though you were wrong, you came at me, bro, which I respect. The thing is, at the end of it, he does not choose left door or right door. He does make a decision, but it's not which door to go to. Don't you unmute, get the button back off there, Antoinette. Hi, Antoinette. So he's not choosing which door to go to. Who points to a door?
Oh, the princess.
Does he go where the princess points?
No. Yes, yes, yes.
Does he have to go where the princess points?
No.
So is that a choice he makes?
Yes.
Ah, good game we're playing. So Antoinette, don't you put your finger up. So Antoinette, what choice does he make at the end of the story?
He makes the choice of which door to choose.
What's that, Lily? Lily's yelling at you from here, Antoinette. There's a word you have to use. Settle down, Lily. Stop yelling at her. Antoinette.
The door the princess chooses or the other door.
That's much better. Nicely done, Antoinette. Good teamwork. Ellie, are you tagging back in now? What's up, Ellie?
I was gonna say the right door or the left door.
Well, that's true, but his choice is not the doors. He chooses whether he's going to go with what the princess says or do his own thing. But Ellie, since you're unmuted, let's pick on you again, Ellie. So now we're ready for external conflict, which is our battle in the story, like the one that keeps happening between me and poor Lily, when she keeps trying to pick fights with you guys for not using the word or. Ellie, what is our external conflict that happens in the story? What is our big fight?
To love the princess versus
Time out. You do have verses in there. Nicely done. But it should be like a battle between actual characters. So who's trying to kill who in the story?
the gardener's son and the king.
Good. Now, how would you write that correctly so we don't have to yell at you? The word
The gardener's son or the
That's for an
or the
internal
king?
conflict. But for an external conflict, there's a different word you use. You can use your notes if you look down at them. Yes, those ones right down there. There's a word that you circled that you said you have to have in an external conflict that you've hidden from yourself. It's so deep. I'm trying to.
Versus?
Please get attendance has been canceled. You need to ride the bus home, but get your rackets and et cetera in Miss Elshake's room. Attendance has been canceled. Ride the bus home.
So how would you write that correctly, Ellie? What things are fighting each other?
The gardener's son versus the king.
Oh, we finally got there. Nice one. King versus boy and girl. Good job, Ellie. Way to tag it on that one. I also went for the boy versus the two doors, which could also work as one. Any battle and or fight that you have popping up in there would work for me. Jeriel, what's up again? The problem with tiger versus woman is that they never actually fight each other in the story. And I have kids who do that all the time because they'll do like lady versus tiger. But being as that they never actually fight each other, it would not actually work as an answer. I mean, it's a fun one, but that never actually would happen. Interesting. I could put the boy versus the doors, but the two doors never actually fight each other. But the boy has to like fight what comes out of the doors, so that could probably be closer to it. That's not us yet. That'll be the other ones going first. But we're going to stop there. So I'm going to change things a little bit. You guys are the first kids to find this out. I'm going to move the quiz to Thursday because I want to take more time to cover this with you on Wednesday. So we're going to slide the quiz to Thursday. So I'll announce that's my other one. So for you guys know, you still have to read stories. I'm just going to push the quiz back a day because I want one more day to talk with you before I make you take the quiz. So quiz will be Thursday, Friday, and then you guys won't have to worry about it yet. Those of you who are here, you guys get to pack up and we'll let you guys take off in a moment, but you can't leave yet because they're letting out all those other groups first. So hang on, these kids, you guys go away. I mean that in the nicest way. Mina, only if you were standing still. If you, wait, and read those stories. The fish, not the fisherman, the fun they had. The one that you guys have to read.
I'm Mr. Broviak.
See you, Maxwell. Are you on my remind, Mina? I'll send out any homework you have on remind. And let's do it that way. I can't. Here's the drawback. If I